Got some great quotes from some NHL scouts. What player are they talking about? You'll be surprised. You'd love it to be one person, but it's definitely not. Plus, look back at last year's opening night game, a 3-0 loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I found my notes, and there's a whole lot of stuff there that just never got solved during the season. We'll take a look and see what the Rangers have done since then. Plus, Yaroslav Melosh is lighting it up on social media. Great photos, great workout stuff. We'll talk about that and his role coming up. Here on Rangers Daily, I am your host, Todd Werwa. Thank you for joining me. Should be a fun show. Look a little forward, look a little backward. Should be good. Hit that subscribe button. Join this great Rangers fan community. I love when you leave your comments. I read them all, good, bad, upset, happy, all that kind of stuff. I read them all, I promise, even the ones that make fun of me. It happens. Plus, if you're on the podcast formats, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, follow the show. Leave me a nice review if you'd be so kind. Hit that thumbs up button if you like my content. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you follow Rangers Daily. You'll get episodes, clips, all that sort of stuff. And it's another place for you to leave comments. It would be much appreciated. So, subscribe, follow, comment, and leave a thumbs up. All free, all easy to do, all no commitment to anything. Just jump in, become part of the community. All right, let's start with blind quotes. Which Ranger are they talking about? All right, these are from a couple of different scouts, a former player. I'll give you some clues, but here's the first one. He's formed an identity, infectious personality. He's excited, and coaches like that. He brings something to the table. Ooh, might sound like it's one of the top Rangers. Might sound like it's someone you'd want to be a leader. He seems like he's got the attitude, seems like he's got the work ethic. Ooh, maybe this is the person you want to be the captain. Be nice. One former player said, I don't know if you guys can see it, but his energy is unmatched. He's constantly up on his feet. He's banging his stick. He just brings an energy that's contagious. He's fun to be around, fun to play with. This is the kind of person I want in my locker room. This is the kind of person I want as part of the charge of this year's Rangers team. Those are my words. Final thing from a scout. I like what he showed. I like the pace. I like the enthusiasm. I like everything. I think it will translate come October. I like him. The willingness to do whatever it takes is there. These are descriptions of someone you want as your captain, yet I don't think anybody is having those kind of quotes about JT Miller. This is not about the captain. All of these quotes come from scouts and former player. In Vince Mercogliano and Peter Baugh's prospects listing of their number 10 prospect, Adam Sikora. Yes, that is the kind of person you want in the Rangers lineup. I hope he has a chance. I hope he gets a good look and gets more than just the 11 games he had last season. He wound up with 3 goals and an assist, a bundle of energy. Mika Zibanejad talked about just the enthusiasm, the smile, how the young guys made the older guys feel young again, so to speak, made them feel the energy, even though it was playing out the string in the end of an abysmal season. You want guys like this in the room, guys that don't necessarily have to speak up. They don't have to be leaders, especially if you're going to be a bottom 6 guy or penalty kill guy. Guys that the coaches can coach, and you see they take the coaching, and guys that don't even have to open their mouth other than just you keep a smile, you keep a positive attitude, you put in more work than anybody. People see that, and it goes a long way, and it makes you realize these are the things that bond teams together, that bond teammates together, and it's that special glue that successful teams have. I hope Adam Sikora gets a chance. I mean, if it's Veleno, let's say it's Cartier and Radish on the right wing of the third line. And what if it's Veleno, Melash, and Sikora on that fourth line? Speed, toughness. Are they going to score goals? They'll get chances, but who knows? But they'll do the dirty work, and they'll do it happily. They'll do it with an infectious energy. Now, Sikora's not big. That's I guess probably the biggest knock, no pun intended, on him. He's listed at 5'11", but as the guys at the Athletic write, generously listed at that height. He's not. He doesn't have the size, but he's not afraid to hit. He's not afraid to go in front. And if you put him with another, sort of a bigger guy in Khmelash, and you play most of the line with some hitting and a whole lot of speed, it's a pretty good fourth line. Then you can also, rotate in the guys we've been talking about in the fourth line. It doesn't have to be that fourth line every game. We know with Mike Sullivan, it's not going to be the same fourth line of every game. And maybe Cartier drops down to that fourth line a little bit. But when you get a player that other people say these things about, you want that guy in and around your organization, in and around your big club, to keep everyone's spirits going, win or lose, but it winds up leading to more wins, especially as we saw late in the season. So I'm all for Adam Sikora getting a chance to get more playing time this season. Fourth line, penalty kill. Let's see what he's got. He's only 22. He was drafted number 63 in 2022, and he turns 22 in September. So he'll be 22 for this season, even though, right now, technically he's only 21. I can't wait to see what he brings to the table this season. All right, let's take a look at last night's opening game, because I was digging back and I found my notes to that game. A 3-0 loss to the Penguins. It was actually a 1-0 game with a couple of empty netters toward the end. A bad defense, bad coverage by Lafreniere on a face-off play. But the effort wasn't there. There were a whole lot of things that weren't there, and a whole lot of things that just in one period of notes, one game of notes and sound bites became, sadly, the theme for the entire year, and really a description of things that never got fixed, that never advanced past the stages of it being bad on opening night. So here we go, and I'll get to the lineup in a minute because I want to compare it to this upcoming lineup. But pregame, Mike Sullivan talked about building an identity, building something we're proud of. Really, maybe wasn't until the end of the year, the very, very end of the year, when all was already lost, that they got to something where they were proud of. It never really got to that point. They never built anything. He talked about being a good teammate and the reliability and the dependability. And as the clips kept coming in of bad defensive efforts and, straight-legged skating and all that stuff, I don't think reliability and dependability were something that the New York Rangers embodied last season. They gave up a goal, 32 seconds left in the first period. Good play by Malkin. Lafreniere, bad coverage. I think it might have been, I don't remember who scored the goal. I didn't write it down. It's inconsequential. But my notes after the first period, they looked disjointed in their own end, slow, and they had bad coverage on the goal. Sounds like the whole season, right? Looked disjointed in their own end. They didn't really, especially when Fox was hurt, they didn't really have guys, someone that could move the puck, that could really transition breakouts. They're certainly slow, and bad coverage leading to goals. Their defense actually wasn't terrible. They were supposed to be playing a much better defensive system. Now, after the game, Steve Valiquette said they had one high percentage chance the whole game. Not good at all. Sullivan said, we want to play faster and more aggressive. I don't think they ever really got to that point at all. Dave Maloney said, the crowd never had a reason to be engaged. Give them 20 games. Well, the crowd never got a reason to get engaged for the entire year. You heard Fire Drury chants, you heard some booing, but most of all, you heard silence, especially at MSG. It just got ugly. Even the 20 games, it didn't really matter. They never really put an exciting brand of hockey on the ice. They never gave fans a reason to really, really, really get behind the team. Outside of, Mika's resurgence, maybe Igor when he was healthy, making big saves. Igor chance to get the arena rolling a little bit. They never really gave the fans much to be happy about. Um, just a little rip of sound bites. Miller said we're not our best. It's the first game. I know we'll be better. Sorry, JT, they weren't. I know you wanted to be positive at that time. It didn't last long. Fox said they were not connected as a group of five. Yeah, that connection kind of was tough throughout the season. Mika said we need to be a little more direct from D zone to O zone. I think you're going to get that this year with the defensive additions. Be much better in terms of moving the puck and getting from your own end to the other end of the ice. And finally, Sullivan said we got a long way to go to be the team we want to become. I don't think they ever became the team they wanted to become. I don't think we saw it at all. Maybe in the fancy free, maybe in the Winter Classic, maybe in the last several weeks of the season where the kids came up and they got chances. But to play the style Sullivan really wanted, between health and lack of talent, lack of speed, they just were never able to be that team that would be an in-your-face kind of team. They were never really able to do that. It was evident in game one, all the deficiencies that they had. Really almost evident in that first period alone. They had a decent second period, but the third period just, Mika had a chance that he missed on, went over the net. But you could just see the vibe was off. They were celebrating 100 years of the New York Rangers, and the whole night, the whole vibe, the whole connective tissue seemed off, and it never resolved itself through the whole season. That might be my biggest gripe of it, through injuries, through dicey play, through trade rumors, through the retool letter, through all of that. They never became the team that seemingly Mike Sullivan wanted to put on the ice. I think this year he's got a much better shot of it because the lineup looks way better on paper. So here was the lineup at the start of the season last year. Panarin, Trocheck, Lafreniere, Cooley, JT, and Mika, Sheary, Laba, and Taylor Radish. Then Adam Edstrom, Sam Carrick, and Matt Rempe. Remember that fourth line was having having a little bit of a shine moment for the first several games until Rempe hurt himself. Then things totally changed. Not that Rempe was making that much of a difference, but at least it seemed like they had a little fire to him. Cooley on the second line certainly really didn't work during the year, whether it was Mika at center or JT. Right? Once you really moved Mika to where he belonged and got him off the wing and moved JT to the wing, Trocheck with Panarin and Lafreniere, you saw the worst of Lafreniere, and then you got to finally see a little of the best of him once Panarin left. The defense was Gavrikov and Fox, who, when healthy, they made an unbelievable duo. Their numbers were spectacular. The second pair was Soucy and Borgen, and they just didn't cut it. Then the third pair was Urho Vakanainen and Braden Schneider. Certainly not the third pair that you really wanted to put out there. Again, it's going to be much better this year on paper heading into camp. You figure it's Pavel Dorofeev, Mika, and Alexis Lafreniere, already better. Gabe Perreault, JT Miller, and Oliver Bjorkstrand. A more confident Gabe Perreault, right? Gabe Perreault wasn't even in last year's starting lineup. I think Bjorkstrand's going to have a bounce-back season, or they sign another top-9 player that can slide in there, too, that can score some goals. Will Cooley kind of where he belongs on the third line with Noah Laba and likely Taylor Radish. Then could be Cartier, Veleno, and Hmelash. Could be Sikora, Veleno, and Hmelash, and Cartier on the third line. Could be a variety. Could be Liam Greentree. Could be one of several prospects. The defensive pairings, Gavrikov and Fox again, most likely. The biggest improvement, that second pair defensive unit of Pettersson and Durzi. Puck movers, smart defensemen, much better acclimated to the modern game and what the Rangers want to do in terms of playing fast, not necessarily just being fast, but playing fast, getting the puck out, and kind of with that Mika quote, going from D zone directly to O zone, being more direct about it instead of the east west Panarin dancing and that sort of stuff. Just move the puck and let's go. And then the final pairing right now would be Matthew Robertson and Braden Schneider, but it could be Albert Smits and Braden Schneider, or it could be Albert Smits and Scott Morrow. Like, there's so much to like about what they can do with that bottom pair right now. This does not look like a last place in the Eastern Conference kind of team. And let's face it, the end of September lineup is going to be much different than I would think the end of October lineup, let alone the Thanksgiving lineup, let alone the New Year's lineup, and so on. This lineup's going to keep evolving. More prospects are going to get a chance as they get a little more time to, evolve their games in the AHL. As long as they can stay healthy, this team should be not only better on paper, but actually on the ice where they play the games. And at the very least, much more enjoyable to watch and follow and see effort from in every game. So much higher on the team this coming year than heading into night number 1 of last season. Finally, a little summer fun. It looks like Yaroslav Khmelash is putting in the work. Nice video of him working with the weights and stuff. Looks like he also, I believe, got engaged over the summer, and I believe he's on or just is finishing up a camping trip with his buddy Adam Sikora. See, it all comes back to Sikora and Khmelash. Their relationship is phenomenal. They love playing alongside each other. The joy when one of them scored while the other one was either on the ice or up at the NHL level, even just on the bench, was tremendous. Those energy guys, they make a big difference as you're going through the now 84 game slog. You need those bundles of joy, those moments of joy, and Khmelash looks like he's well prepared to put in more games this year, make even more of a difference. Listen, as much as you talk about being, the top heavy, top six, that bottom six and that fourth line, it needs to mesh. It needs to bring energy. It needs to make it hard for the other team's offense to get going. It needs to get pucks out of the zone. It needs to create some chances, but control zone time and then get out and let the bigger guns come in and do something with, the zone time and with the tired legs of the other team. So I love what Khmelash is doing. I can't wait to see him, what he looks like coming to camp, having gotten a little taste of NHL life. All right, that's what I've got for you today. Appreciate you being here. Hit that subscribe button. Tell me your thoughts, especially if you were at that opening night game or remember watching it. Give me your thoughts on where you think Adam Sikora fits in the lineup. How much is he going to wind up at the NHL level? I'm rooting for the kid. I think his smile brings a ton to remove the cloud that has hung over this organization for a couple of years. So comment, follow the show, leave me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you watching as always. I'll see you tomorrow.